The morning chill wraps itself around my shivering body. I huff into my cupped hands to desperately try and stave off the cold as we mill about in the station platform. Lily's clothing looks rather ill-suited for the temperature around us. I can see her nipples poking right through her shirt. Damn it, Lily! Why do we have to get here so early? Unfortunately, the train schedule is against us. The next train to Hokkaido is about 2 in the afternoon. Great. I pause a moment to wipe some sleep out of my eyes, and Lily promptly takes advantage of the opening. Cheer up, Hisao. Once we get there, it'll be much warmer. Why not just take the bullet train? A normal train's gonna take hours to get us there. So we may as well take the Shinkansen line as far north as it goes and just switch at the end. There's a certain charm to older trains, wouldn't you agree? I'd agree if it weren't freezing in the cold morning before we decided to take one. What, Lily? Do you like to see the sights? Do you like to see the scenery, Lily? Is that it? You like to look out the train and see the trees going by, Lily? Do you like to see the fields, Lily? Like to look out at that, Lily? Is that what you like to do? Sorry, Lily. I'm grumpy in the morning. Sorry for what? I was the one who suggested taking a normal train. Wait to make me feel guilty. All I can do is sigh and cover my face with my hand. It's fine. I'm just grumbling. My, Hanako, you needn't shoulder all the blame for yourself. Even without your suggestion, I'd still have opted for the same thing. Thankful for that quick interception from Lily, I take a quick gander around the station. Aside from us, the train's platform's all but deserted, the morning dew settling in on empty benches. I guess no one else is masochistic enough to brave the very early morning. Though if someone was, they'd more than notice the huge bags both Lily and Hanako brought with them. What do you have packed in those things anyways? Oh, you know, toys. The bags? She pauses for a moment and tilts her head in thought. A change of clothing, raincoat, underwear, sleepwear, number of books. I think that's most of it. They make it sound like I'm unprepared. You are not prepared! Underwear and a pack of cards. And my pills. You know, pills. No pajamas? No, I like to sleep in the nude. As I ruffle my hair in frustration, Lily sighs. I actually hate pajamas. Like, I really do not like pajamas. The feeling of clothing wrapped around my arms while I sleep feels like I'm being suffocated by a very, very weak anaconda. Fun fact about Zenigami. There should be clothes you could use there. Akira still occasionally goes there after all, and I think some of our parents' clothing are still in storage. Yay, I could... It's like I'm a part of your family, right? Huh, Lily? Part of your family? Lily? Me? You? Family? Thanks. Still, I don't mind sleeping in my normal clothing. For 2 days? Good point. Not really, though. 2 days would be borderline. It's just that looking even a little like a slob would be unacceptable while in the presence of 2 girls. As we leisurely talk on the station platform, an announcement sound from the loudspeakers, loudly heralding our ride's arrival. Looking past Lily and Hanako, though, the train's still well out of sight. A quick check on my watch is enough to see that it's the one thing we'll be taking. 5:30 train was ours, right? Correct. Either you want me to take your bags? Mine's not exactly heavy. My, what? That's very gentlemanly of you, Hisao. As I bend down to pick up Lily's large bag, I look up to see Hanako picking up hers. You fine with that? A silent nod is the only answer. I'm starting to get the feeling that by the trip's end, I'll be able to count every sentence she says on one hand. Ah, she's playing Yu-Gi-Oh! What a fucking nerd. With the morning landscape, Lily, you're missing the scenery, Lily. Look out the window. Try to focus my attention on the aging playing cards held in my hands. I raise you 5. She scrunches her face up and leans over to Lily conspiratorially, the two exchanging a few whispered words. Considering how often this has happened so far, I'm coming to doubt Hanako's grasp on how to play poker. Doesn't seem to disturb Lily's reading, though, her hands flitting over each page, with only occasional corrections to account for the train's bumping and rocking. My collection of chess pieces that we've been using as chips is steadily growing anyways, so it doesn't really bother me. Looking around us, our carriage is almost as empty as the station platform we've been waiting for the train itself on. Only a handful of people can be seen looking mostly like tourists and couples on holiday. We look like a 3-way couple on 3-day holiday. I don't know what I'm saying. While the two continue their less than clandestine strategizing, a small boy looks over to the seat and stares at me. Hoping he doesn't begin to stare at Hanako, I simply give him a smile and a wave. What you looking at, bitch? Thankfully, he retreats back to his seat after finding me far too boring to waste his attention on. Raise you another 5. I fold. I've been bluffing. The real question is how she managed to get 4 cards in her hand while we're playing poker. This is a really weird game of poker. Hanako! What the fuck you do with your 5th card, Hanako? This is poker. Also, we should play Texas Hold'em. That's like the superior way to play poker. I've been bluffing and she caught me. You should have doubled down, man. Double down on the bluff. Hanako's timid. Get her out of there. 5 card stud. I'm the only stud here, man. Hearthstone. Hanako looks absolutely delighted, and even if Lily keeps her attention focused on her reading material, I can see the smirk on her face. They're both extremely pleased. For a moment, I try to work out what Lily's reading, but the cover is too faded to read beyond the fact that the Roman letters on it. Roman letters are on it. A pity I can't read Braille above the printed title. What you reading, Lily? Texas Hold'em is a different style of poker. It's still poker, it's just different style. It's like 9-ball and billiards and stuff. Well, I mean, billiards is, yeah. That's right. It's And Then There Were None, an old British story. I can read it to you if you like. She extends the offer with a grin, obviously in jest. I think I'll pass, thanks. Your voice is scarring and hurts my ears. You like that, Hanako? I said scarring. After a seemingly endless trip, we finally reached the promised land of the Satel summer house. Even after the train trip, the walk-up seems to take forever. Despite my grumblings though, I never guessed the sight that would be in store for us once we traveled that long, deserted road. It looks more like a farmhouse than an everyday house, I imagine. Small in size and surrounded by trees and bushes. An empty expanse of wheat fields and farming lands can be seen as we walk up, the fencing only consisting of rickety old wooden planks. It really drives home how far we are from the major cities, and is a sight that feels antithetical to the environment I grew up in. The only thing that didn't surprise me is its western styling. Wow, it's amazing out here. Hey, maybe, I mean, I'm not saying this, but Akira should have probably closed the window when they finished using this place, because that's, I mean, like, you have windows wide open here, babe. It's wonderful. Nice to hear. While Akira may have said that she kept the house in reasonable condition, I was worried we might have different standards for reasonable. Looks like there isn't another soul for miles. I thought Akira would be the type to keep to the city. Lily furrows her brow, seemingly reluctant. Calling almost forgotten knowledge. Yeah, Akira's really loud when she bangs her boyfriend. I mean, like, oh my god, you would hear it for miles and miles, so this house is the only place that you can get any sort of privacy while they're banging each other's brains out. From memory, there's a small town not too far ahead. Other than that, though, this is largely just old farmland. Akira and I stayed in our parents' house, which was in the nearest city for a while. But after they left, we decided to move into a smaller, more easily maintainable house. To find a place like this in Japan nowadays, it's kind of anachronistic. While this town does have quite a bit of history. I looked down the streets one last time and I saw a racist man walking his slaves. Oh no, not that kind of history. It's a long walk to get in here. Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, 3 of us lugging our bags into the house. As soon as we set foot inside, Hanako and I start looking around, taking in every detail of where we'll be staying for the next few days. All the artifacts of another's life stopped in mid-motion are around the house, such as a television guide laying beside the counter it was on, and pans on the adjoining kitchen, still sitting on the stove. It's a strange feeling, really, as if we're stepping into Kira's life for a brief moment before leaving in a couple of days, just as we come. Of course, the more mundane reality is that she just hadn't cleaned up for herself that well. Where should we put our bags? I'll show Hanako our bedroom. You can put yours in here if you like. What do you mean? Why can't we all share the same bedroom? I don't have the same bedroom as you two? Oh, Lily, I have a suggestion. You and I can share a bedroom, and Hanako can sleep over there. Hanako flowers into a full blush as Lily takes her cheek in her hands. Oh my, how bold. Hold on, if I'm to leave my bags here, where will I be sleeping? You're sleeping on the porch, bitch. Well, seeing as we lack a guest bedroom. The futon? Sorry, Hisao. Ah. Hopefully this leads to weird futon sex. I sigh, lamenting my place on the bottom rung of sleeping location priorities. Guess there's no other choice. Lily leaves to show Hanako to their bedroom. I take a small tour of my surroundings as I drop my bag on the floor. The kitchen, just like the living room, is fairly modest. The rustic nature of the wooden furnishings drives home just how far we are from civilization. Returning to the living room, I decide to try out the television until they get back. With a touch of the remote, it immediately flickers to life, apparently set to a news channel. Almost flopping down from exhaustion rather than sitting, I lay back and watch. And watch. Dude, we just got here, man. You're wasting your weekend. Hisao. I quickly blink to wake myself. Lily and Hanako have returned minus their bags. From the Hokkaido night sky visible outside the windows, it looks like I drifted off to sleep. Looking to the wall-mounted clock, it's already 10. Jeez, you slept for a while, dude. Yeah, it really does feel nice and homey here. Glad you like it. You were already out like a light when you came back from unpacking our things, so we didn't have the heart to wake you sooner. Judging from her giggle, I must sound funny when I sleep. I swiftly decide not to inquire. There's dinner waiting for you on the kitchen. Hanako gives a deep yawn, only to remember to cover her mouth at the last second. You tired? Man, they ate dinner and everything without me. They really didn't want me to come along. I'm just like the +1. I'm pretty tired too. It was a long walk up here and it's getting late. I just woke up. If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night. Good night. Night. With that, they quietly turn and walk back to their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. I wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. I suppose I'll eat something and watch some more TV quietly before going to bed. Well, at least we'll be very well rested for tomorrow. Is he still sleeping? I think so. It's getting late in the morning. He likely stayed up to watch television. Only because I couldn't get to sleep. Should we wake him? No, I'm rock hard. No, we should leave him. I doubt he'd want to be woken early if he didn't get much sleep during the night. Thanks, Lily. He sounds so peaceful, it'd be a shame to wake him like he's like this. Keep a straight face, Hisao. It's nice you care so much, though. Hanako, could you go to the fridge and fish out what's needed to make lunch? Vegetables and rice? That should be enough. We only need something simple as we can eat in town later. Hanako's footsteps on a carpeted floor can be heard, moving away from the living room. As I do, I feel Lily's hand gently rest on my chest. It takes titanic effort not to react, but something about her makes me feel like she knows I'm awake. A long silence passes. Dude, you can open your eyes, not like Lily can tell. Like, you can open your eyes, not like Lily's gonna see you opening your eyes, man. The only thought in my mind is of that gentle, outstretched hand laying upon my chest. After an indiscernible amount of time, Lily withdraws her hand. Morning, Hisao. Conceding defeat all too easily, I prop myself up and rub my eyes. How'd you know? Your breathing was off. Ah! She's Daredevil. I could tell you were lying. Your breathing was off. Well, that makes sense. She couldn't have needed that long to work it out. Knowing her hearing, she likely knew before laying her hand on me. If you wanted to sleep more, you really should go to bed earlier. I heard the television going long into the night. Sorry about that. My medications have been interfering with my sleep for a while now. Even if I'm tired, I have trouble actually sleeping. Sorry for bringing it up. I sigh. This is exactly the kind of thing I wish others wouldn't do. Alright, let's address it. Come on. You worry about me more than I do at times. It just means I have to sleep a bit longer, that's all. But still. I'd say that I look absolutely fine, but I guess that wouldn't have a lot of meaning for you. She gives a sigh of consternation before trailing off with an amused chuckle, giving up the point. If you say so, please do take care of yourself, Hisao. Go on, Hanako. Go on. Go on. Hanako could use some help. She moves to protest, but reluctantly acquiesces and disappears into the kitchen, her hand running along the smooth white walls as she slowly walks. For a while, I sit and watch television in an attempt to wake myself a bit more. But it's futile. I don't have anything better to do, so I follow Lily's lead. As I round the corner, I see Hanako and Lily's back turned, quietly cutting food on the granite-colored counter. I am temporarily engrossed as I watch Lily guiding the knife down carefully on a finger, with a finger on the cabbage she's cutting, each slice delivered slowly but with precision. She seems a little slow, but considering that she can't see what she's doing, it's a small wonder she can cook at all, let alone for both her and Hanako. Hi, Hanako. Lily, want any help? Is that... Huh? Lily jerked back in surprise before turning around, her yelp immediately drawing Hanako and me to her side. A small trickle of scarlet falls down from her pale fingertip, the knife having cut just deep enough to draw blood. With the television sound masking my footsteps, she must not have noticed me coming. To compensate for having to use touch to guide everything she does during cooking, she must need to pay extra attention. Good job! Lily, don't worry, Hanako, it's just a small wound. Should still get a band-aid on it, at least until it stops bleeding. First aid stuff will be in the bathroom, right? I think so. Will you be okay here? I frown at how little heed she's paying to herself as Hanako gives a quick, almost automatic nod. It's fine, I can keep making lunch. An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and a box of band-aids on the side of the sink, Lily's finger held out for me to treat. The lid of the bottle comes off with a minimum of resistance, and a small ball of cotton ice soaked in the liquid stains a pale green. Alright, hold still, this will probably hurt. Look, if she bleeds on our lunch, it's like I have her inside of me, right? It's not creepy. She gives a small nod as I take hold of her hand to steady it. With all the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad to the small red line. Ah! What? I barely touched it. Sorry. I give a sigh, both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her pain tolerance is startlingly low. I would tell you to man up, but I can't really do that. As she gives a small giggle, I take advantage of her momentary distraction and gently press the cotton against her finger a few times. Thankfully, it's enough to do the job. We both settle somewhat as I bring the band-aid over the tip of her finger, covering the wound while making sure not to get it stuck in her fingernail. Finished. You can move now. Taking her hand with mine, she gently clasps it on the other. Thank you. It's no problem. It's the least I can do after causing you to hurt yourself, after all. She lowers her head slightly at the apology, absentmindedly running her hand in what seems to be embarrassment. I don't really mind. Her answer doesn't seem to make much sense, given that what happened is pretty clearly my fault. Hey, you like it. I know you like them burps, baby. I can't help grimacing at her, despite the fact that her dainty smile still holds. She must not like being reminded of the limitations her lack of sight imposes on her. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to the same kind of feelings before, despite my condition not being nearly as ubiquitous in life. Neither of us any happier, we head back to the various smells of cooking food coming from the kitchen. I lay out the plates of food, steam slowly rising from the well-cooked rice and curry dishes, while Hanako lay out the cutlery. Knife one side, fork in the other. Western. How perfectly fitting for someone like Lily. As we take our seats... That's such a weird, thing to notice. Huh. As we take our seats, taking careful heed of the dark red tablecloth hanging below our knees, Lily emerges from the kitchen. In her hands are 3 glasses and a bottle of wine. As I recall our previous run-in with a devilish elixir, I hide my face in my palm. Alcohol? Hell yeah! She pauses as she reaches the table, a playful grin perched on her face. I think we can play truth or dare. Not only does she give alcohol to minors, she even lets them pilfer for their own. The perfect motto for a responsible adult Akira is not, are we Yoda we are, yes? More to the point, though, is that this is hardly a meal deserving of alcohol. I'm starting to think Lily's the type to easily become hooked on things. It's not really the problem. I don't really have any qualms with it, but didn't you have a bad experience with it last time? Last time it was likely due to drinking too much, so a single glass shouldn't prove a problem. Think of it as a learning experience. I can't recall many learning experiences that made me feel rotten before putting me to sleep. I'll take your word for it. She dips an uninjured finger inside to feel the liquid level, tip against the bottom as the liquid rises up. The white of her finger almost seems to glow as the sunlight hits it, the delicate outline blurred and refracted by the glass. Her fingers are definitely longer than mine. Oh, I wish I could feel those long fingers wrapped around my hand. I kind of like to think more suited to a pianist than a teacher. She likely have done well if she learned how to play. We quickly dig into our meals, forks and knives clattering against the plates. You're eating curry rice. What do you need knives for? Maybe it's really tough curry. None of us are particularly eager to speak while eating. Lily altogether too reserved for such a thing. I don't get this whole not speaking while eating thing. I love talking to friends while eating. It's like half the point of hanging out. Such a pedestrian activity, eating together at a table, it seems so utterly normal. Yet it makes me realize how long it's been since I've done something like this. Just the 3 of us, sitting around a small table eating as if we were a malformed family. Maybe this trip as far away from everything as we are was worth it. What did you clip? The perfect motto for a responsible adult Akira is not. Ah, yes. It takes quite a long time, but eventually we all finish our surprisingly filling meal. The wine, thankfully, has little effect given we only had 1 glass or 2 each, or 3 or 4. I don't know. I don't know. What are you, my mom? I'm just drinking, Mom. Jesus, Mom. I slumped back into the seat, rubbing my stomach contentedly. I'm stuffed. Lily pats her mouth with a napkin. Twice. Only twice. With evenly timed intervals in between. It's only twice. If you only pat twice, no matter what pat it is, it's always going to be even, right? Whatever. It's hard to tell sometimes whether how she acts is well-trained routine or a well-rehearsed act. I think I must be as well. Do you like it, Hanako? It was nice. Now that we're well fed, shall we be off? Where? You aren't privy to discussion between Hanako and I earlier. I get the impression that she's having a subtle dig at my sleeping in. We'll be going into the town nearby. I guess I should have expected 2 girls to take a holiday as an excuse to go shopping. Girls shopping, typical. I'm interested to see more around the north though, so this can only be a good thing. How long's the walk in then? A mile and a half. Try not to die on the way there, Hisao. Just great. I don't get that. Just great. As we climb up the path surrounded by trees and undergrowth, I watch Lily and Hanako walking ahead. The slight breeze all but whisks away the sound of Lily's cane gently tapping on the ground. I notice that Lily since removed the band-aid now that the bleeding of her finger has stopped. A deep, lung-filling breath of the fresh country air makes me wish all the harder that the air around home had been quite so clean. Can't have even been half a mile, but I'm already working up a sweat. It isn't a pleasantly cool day, though, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself for it. Lily, how far away is the town? Well, I spent quite a few of my vacations here up until I entered Yamaku. I'd say I know it pretty well. We used to drive here once a weekend then. How I wish Akira was here to drive us now. I quickly take a moment to rub my hands a couple of times, staving off the oddly cold feeling in them. Do you like it up here? I'd say it was nice during winter, but as you can work out, summers get a little too hot for comfort. It's nice and quiet at least. But you call this a summer home. My family's real house is quite far south. When they left Japan, my parents gave it to Akira and me. Only Akira lives here now, after my moving to Yamaku. Well, quiet certainly describes this place. Though lonely is how I'd put it. Other than the prophesized small town, there isn't another soul for miles around. Coming from a home nestled within the big city, it's certainly different. I think that if I'd not come to Yamaku, staying out in the country like this would be too much of a change to get used to. After getting accustomed to the school's isolation, the idea of living in a place such as this become almost inviting. To be somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of the metropolitan centers. So, Hisao, have you been to Hokkaido before? I used to live down south. We never had any field trips or holidays up this far. It's a new experience for you then. It is. I'm surprised how nice it feels here. How about you, Hanako? She shakes her head from side to side. It's my first time, too. Ladies, this isn't the first thing we can all experience together on this lovely weekend. After I continue walking, I begin to feel pins and needles in my legs. It's a little disturbing, given there's no reason for it to be happening. Could you hold on a minute? I'm dying. Yeah, I'm gonna die. My vocal cords suddenly become taut as my chest tightens instantaneously. I quickly pull my upper arm over it, trying to quell the shot of pain spreading throughout my entire body. Hisao! Lily's face is mildly concerned, not knowing the sight which Hanako's recoiling from. I'm fine, I'm just dying. I remove my arm from my chest and force myself to begin walking again. It's just a minor heart flutter, so it'll pass like the others. I only take a couple of steps before my body violently revolts against me. My legs suddenly begin to give way underneath, and all tension in my knees seeming to evaporate. Ugh! Before I can react, they uselessly give way under my weight, leaving me only just enough time to brace myself and fall on all floors. Hisao! He's dead! As I look up to her, I realize my face is still taut with pain, only adding that much more to her worrying. Hanako, what's going on? Hanako, tell me. Hanako quickly moves to my side as Lily almost panics, having a little clue as to exactly how bad a condition I'm in. While she stands there petrified, I lower my face and take a deep breath. I come to a realization that makes me endlessly irritated with my stupid self. With all excited in my new surroundings, I entirely neglected to take my medications last night or even this morning. So I die. Taking another breath, the acute pain in my chest begins to die down as suddenly as it arrived. As it does, I become acutely aware of the sweat by now pouring off my face and the two scared girls around me. Hisao! Fine. I screw up my brow in an effort to lever myself up. Hanako's arms quickly moving to catch me if I fall as I stumble a bit before regaining my balance. I look towards Lily and Hanako. Worry written on both their faces. I feel awful. Utterly awful. I think we should go back. Realizing the futility of protesting, I look away in frustration. Damn, we could have just died and ended the game there. We lost out and missed out on that opportunity. Way to ruin all the fun, Hisao. I open my eyes groggily, completely bereft of energy. We've done Best of Girl and Hanako, and now we're on Lily. I open my eyes groggily, completely bereft of energy. For a while, I simply lie down lifelessly, staring at the ceiling as I review the events of the morning in an attempt to organize my thoughts. We went to walk into town. My heart nearly gave way. We came back. I took my pills. I slept. Oh, I see what you did there, old Shadow. I can only remember each period of time with a snapshot, but the timeline is clear enough. The memory of the girls' faces I struggled to stand is an unpleasant one, stinging my feelings harshly. If I look at the ceiling hard enough, I can imagine the tile edges and small dimples of the ceiling in a hospital. The fact alone is enough to make me sit up and try to pull myself together. What's up, Davi? Yep, Lily route. Yeah, we did Emmy, Hanako, and now we're on Lily. I scratched the back of my disheveled hair, glancing around the room. Lily and Hanako are nowhere to be seen and television's turned off. The clock above it says it's late in the afternoon. The noticeably reddened sky outside, it confirms it further. I turn and pick myself up from the futon, swaying slightly as I put my arms out for balance. I suppose I better go look for the girls to see if they're all right. Look out the window. I faintly see something in the distance. Straining my eyes, I can just make out the shape of a person's figure. Her long, blonde hair swaying in the faint breeze makes her almost seem to melt into the bright yellow of the wheat field. Without a second thought, I leave the room to follow that lone apparition. Turns out it's a stranger. I got lost. I died in the woods alone. The brightness of the setting sun assaults my freshly woken eyes, forcing me to avert them until they adjust. The long, yellow strands of wheat brush against my legs as I wade through them, the densely grown field making it hard to advance. Regardless, my eyes stay fixed ahead, true to that solitary figure. Within minutes, I reach her. Meters behind her turned back. Lily? Oh, who are you? Where is Hanako? She's in bed. She went to sleep after I calmed her down. She says it matter-of-factly, and with as few words as possible, as if saying any more were strictly forbidden. There's something different about her. Her normally confident figure seems oddly fragile, her body offering no resistance to my firm, manly touch. All I'm saying, guys, is that there's a lovely, lovely, lovely community known as WTSSTHSAMIT. I think that's it, right? I think it's... Did I get that right? Man, No? Almost got it. Is WTSSTADAMIT. So close. There's something different about her. Her normally confident figure seems oddly fragile, her body offering no resistance. The strands of wheat sway from side to side while a deafening pause passes, the only sound being their rustling. As we stand and feel alone, I know what I have to ask. What's wrong, Lily? You're not acting like you usually do. What is that? When the sun shines through a dress and makes it transparent. Duh. Your family. I looked downwards and thought. Sifting through my scattered memories, the event seems to leap readily to hand when I search for it, rising to the surface as soon as it was recalled. After Hanako's birthday party? She gives a simple nod. It was nice back then, you and I celebrating with Hanako, simply sharing presents, talking, having fun together. It was almost as if we were family. One small, misshapen family. I thought that could just go on forever, just the three of us, happily together. But then you had to ruin it with your goddamn male hormones. She takes a long breath, a slight shakiness to it, barely audible through the moving air. Even if my family were so far away, as long as we were together, that's all I needed. I don't want to lose you, Hisao. I didn't even realize how afraid I was of losing someone until today. Until you almost died. Sorry, Lily. I know my body's weak, but even then I make the most stupid of mistakes. Don't apologize. Please don't apologize. Lily? She turns to face me, her pale cheeks stained with tears. One misguided step after another, she stumbles towards me, her arms held out in search of so much as a faint brush against me. My heart doesn't race nor pound as I step towards Lily, gently taking and steadying her in my arms as she quickly clutches me, sobbing. Well, of course my heart doesn't race. My heart belongs to Emmy. With her face trembling against my shoulder, the next words from her mouth are the last I expected. I love you, Hisao. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Don't go away, I beg of you. Never go away. I love you, so please. So that's why she's been acting like this. That tender voice when I called her, her thoughtless concern at the slightest pain I might feel. After having been left in Japan without her family and with only Akira, Hanako, and me around, she was afraid of losing yet another person who was close to her. She was genuinely worried for me. It's a strange feeling, a mix of surprise and sorrow, yet also of the deepest gratitude I think I've ever felt. The only reaction I can muster among my conflicting emotions is a calm sigh. Mahaka? Hisao? For a fleeting moment, I feel her body become still. The only movement to be felt is a calm afternoon breeze and a slight trembling in my pantalones. I said it before, didn't I? It's only natural to feel concerned about those around you. I am still here and I'll always be here because I want to see you more every day. To share your happiness and support in your sadness. Lily, will you marry me? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm down. But most of all, I'll still be here because I want to see your smile, your true smile. A single gust of wind rustles the long strands of wheat. A second silent passes. Smile when you want to smile, cry when you want to cry. I love you, Lily, so you don't have to hold back anymore. With that, her arms clutch my back as tightly as she can, her face buried beside me. Her tears fall down my back. She cries unrestrainedly as the last of her resistance melts away. I want this to be Hanako just like third wheeling it. Like I was gonna say dinner's ready, but I think you guys are a little busy, so I'll come back later. Hisao! 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 It's my name. Don't wear it out. I close my eyes, bringing my head down to her shoulder, holding her shaking frame slightly. It's okay, Lily. I'll never go away. I promise. We slowly walk back to the house, holding each other tightly as we take a seat inside. Lily leans her head onto my shoulder and I put my arm around her waist. Neither of us wants to break the silence. With her eyes shut, it's hard to work out whether she's fallen asleep. Not that I mind, the warmth of her body leaning against me, the softness of her head delicately held in mine. For a long, long time we sit leaning against one another, sharing our warmth and feelings as night eventually begins to settle in. Lily's soft voice ends the silence. Thank you, Hisao. Thank you for returning my feelings. Did you think I wouldn't? That there was a possibility. I take a deep breath and thought, that much was only my fault. It's funny, actually, I was thinking of telling you my own feelings sometime soon. I guess in that way you saved me the effort. Yeah, turns out I was the coward. She raises her head a little and gives a tiny amused giggle. I smile at how earnest it is, so girlish in its lightness. She collects herself soon afterwards, her hair resting against my shoulder. Feeling a bit better? She gives a small nod. You are thoughtful, Sal. That's why I like you. I'm sorry I'm like this. As much as I didn't want to make you concerned for me, I couldn't do anything to prevent it. Don't apologize for it. Please don't. Lily? Have I ever apologized for my blindness even once? You can't help the way you are born. Can't help the way you're born. There's no point in apologizing for who you are. She says this with surprising conviction. In the end, it was perhaps this mentality which spurred her to befriend me in such a short time, in addition to her other motherly instincts. I seemed like a baby, so she just felt like she needed to take care of me. She did seem to become trusting very quickly, but I never questioned why. Now it seems obvious that she did so to help me as I went through one of the lowest points in my life. I moved to respond, but cut myself off as I feel her fingers run gently through my... I feel their soft, delicate touch moving downwards to trace the contours of my... Her palm playing settling on my... You're a beautiful person, Isao. Please don't ever apologize for that. For a moment, I'm utterly speechless. I slowly bend my head down, placing a tender kiss on her light, voluminous hair. We're a couple of right old fools, aren't we? Young fools? We are. After a long calm, she speaks again. Hisao? Yes? I wouldn't mind if you... Okay, what? Hold up. Hold up. Alright, I'm ready to move my webcam. Got my hand on scene changing. I feel my hand tensing. I feel her hand tensing under mine, trembling slightly. My mouth opens, but try as I might, I can't formulate a response to her proposition. Lily. Before I can say another word, she slips her hand from under mine and tenderly holds the side of my face once more. Please. I give a peaceful smile, holding her hand against my cheek as I nod a single time. Okay. As I look into her eyes, she leans towards me. Her delicate lips touch mine as she guides herself with her hand. She breaks off not a second later, faintly smiling. I love you, Isao. We kiss again, this time both of us meeting the other. While the previous kiss was one of love, this one is of lust. Our tongues meeting and our breathing heavy. After precious seconds we part, both our faces well and truly flushed. Both of us bring our fingers to our lips in unison, recalling that fleeting feeling, rapidly becoming buried both by our urges and bashfulness. Lily is the first to shift uncomfortably, though. What is it? Should we get more comfortable? Okay. Now she mentions it, this futon would be a bit too narrow to do much on. Considering the thoughts running through both our minds, there's no small wonder one of us has any measure of foresight left. Woo! I take her hand and guide her sideways as I move, the brief and awkward dance ending with both of us tentatively sitting on the floor opposite each other. As I reach forward to pull her top up, she stops after she moves her hand to do the same. You're shaking. I pause for a moment and look at my hands. Sure enough, they're quivering slightly. Whether it's from nervousness or excitement, I'm not so sure. I guess I am. So you're as nervous as I am then? I withdraw my hands and sigh, steadying myself. We have plenty of time, so there's no need to rush this. I don't know, Hanako could wake up like any time. Sorry, it's my first time, so I'm a bit... She giggles shakily, all but confirming what I reasonably deduced by now. It's the same for me. I'm happy. We could share this together. I match her smile twofold, leaning forward and taking her body in my arms as she reaches to hug me back. I love you, Lily. You already said that. I can't help grinning. Each in such a situation, she still has her wits about her. Breaking our embrace, we decide to take off our own clothing. While it's easier this way, I don't doubt it's just an attempt to distract ourselves from our nerves. With slightly stiff hands, I begin to slide the first button off my shirt. Once we remove the last of our clothes, which end up haphazardly piled behind us, my breath is taken by the sight in front of me. Just gonna put myself here, ready to go. I'll save this for later. Tomorrow, Zenigami can thank me for this. Oh no, it's just that? What, we don't even get to see titties? After being woken by a sound, I open my eyes with a measure of reluctance. Turning my head to the left, I find the rain outside sweeps against the windows lightly. Spray after wind-blown spray lashes against the glass, as if it's trying its hardest to make up for the summer's previous heat. I sit up in my futon, holding the back of my neck and try and subdue the pain of my awkward sleeping position. By all accounts, I should be lamenting the turn in the weather, given that this is our last day here. The events of yesterday refuse to stop flooding my mind, though. The feeling of holding Lily's crying body in my arms. Oh, Jesus, dude, what? Oh, what? We missed a lot in that sexy moment. A rush of lust and hormones that flowed through us as we spent the night together. It seems almost futile to try and rationalize everything that happened. In an attempt to distract myself, I groan and lean over to retrieve my bag without standing. Pulling out one bottle after another, I take the day's regimen's worth of pills from their containers and swallow them without further ado. It took a surprisingly short amount of time to get used to swallowing pills without water. I wonder if Lily swallows. That said, I suppose the same thing goes for getting used to living in a school for disabled students. Remembering Yamaku, I've become all the more grateful for having the chance to get away, even if it's just for the shortest of times. I appreciate the chance to spend time alone with Lily and Hanako, away from the bustle of school life, even considering the latest complications. I never thought I'd say it, but the idea of living away from the city in a nice, tranquil area is an inviting one. It's a thought that, barely a year ago, would have seemed simply ludicrous. Ludicrous speed. A flash of pink, no doubt Hanako's gown, peeks from around the corner. Realizing I must look quite a sight since I've only woken up, I slap the remaining pills into my mouth and run a hand through my hair. Hello, Hanako. Did you want to join us? Good morning, Hisao. Ah! Huh? I replied to her, completely forgetting that I'm in the middle of swallowing a pill, a particularly large pill. Coughing and spluttering, I violently gag on it. Well, that's not very attractive. After sputtering loudly and tapping my chest a couple of times to force it down, I managed to recover. I'm fine. Forgot I was swallowing. Nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I hold my hand up, gesturing for Hanako to stop. I gagged. It was my fault. Morning, Hanako. Walking, no, staggering in behind Hanako is the familiar figure of Lily, also dressed in her pajamas. With her eyes full of sleep and her hair bedraggled. She's a sight to behold. Hi, Lily. Morning, Hisao. For a while, a silence hangs in the air as neither of us knows what to do. Given what happened last night, we both have more than enough reason to be finding the situation awkward. Just how are we meant to react to meet each other after something like that? The best course of action would probably be to talk to Lily alone to set things in order. I'll start making breakfast. Lily evidently catches on to my train of thought. I'll help. Hanako, could you set the table? She nods, her head disappearing into a cupboard as she quickly goes about her assigned task. I rub a little sleep out of my eyes as I wander over to the fridge and take out some milk. Lily grabs brightly covered boxes from some of the lower cupboards to my side. When we make the rather bland-looking meal, I whisper somewhat more quietly than usual. Knowing Lily's hearing, she won't have any trouble catching what I say. Are you okay, Lily, after last night? She gives a delicate nod, her expression weak. Though her tiredness may surely plays a part, she seems genuinely unsure about what's happened between us and how to move ahead. Can't say I blame her, considering my feelings are the same. I'm sorry, Hassan, I wasn't thinking straight yesterday. I never stopped to consider you or Hanako. I even went as far as... Okay, wait a second. Alright, there's too much that happened here. 1 second. Enable adult content. Load. I can't go back? Okay, prelude. Like, we missed a lot, okay? Like, we missed a ton. Evidently, there was a lot of story in this sexy moment going on. I'm gonna... I'll let you guys know when it's coming back. Alright. Fragile. There we go. And I'll move my face right here. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Excellent. Clothes removed. Her long, shapely legs, full hips, and her breasts. Plump but dainty, her slightly blushing face, delicate and reserved, is framed by the bangs of her hair. Her hands, tightly held behind her, only serve to further accentuate her chest. Her tall and pale body is beautiful when bared. The girl in front of me, reserved yet playful, astute yet hospitable, is the girl I've fallen in love with. I lean forward, delicately taking her shoulders in my hands. Still safe, still good, still good. As I do so, she brings her hands to my chest. With a slightly uneven breath, we lean into a deep kiss. I feel one of Lily's hands slowly slide up my shoulder, it and her head very gently moving forwards. Assuming her intent, I lean back onto the floor. Ah. She lowers herself with one hand stroking my hair, the other moves across my chest. The feeling of her breast against it is enough to excite me. Look at that technique. She lowers herself beside me, one hand stroking my hair as the other moves across my chest, the feeling of her breast against it enough to excite me. This must be her way of taking in what I've already seen of her. Despite her lack of sight, she engraves every detail of my bare body and chest into her mind. When her middle finger falls into a slight recess of my chest scar, a lingering effect of my operation so many months ago, she slowly runs her hand down its length. This is the scar from my surgery. They had to do this in order to operate on my heart. For a moment, she is lost for words. The idea of such extensive scarring adding a new worry for her, her expression changes from curiosity to apprehension. Should we really be doing this kind of thing? The words bother me beyond what is rational. Lily's face breaks my heart more than even her words possibly could, yet I don't even know how to answer her question. I can't let this condition dominate me further. It may not even be medically advisable, but I outright refuse to live my life in such a prison. It's okay, Lily. This much will be okay. Her troubled expression holds for a moment longer, but she eventually acquiesces, her hand moving to my lower chest and then my thigh. Sweet. With a look of slight surprise, she moves her hand downwards, her breath catching as she brushes the side of my lower hair. She tentatively moves her hand sideways, delicately touching the most honest part of my body. This is... yeah, it is. Our nervousness peaks as the act begins, her hands gently patting up and down as lightly as if it would break if breathed upon. I'm not sure whether it's just to steady myself or because I want to steady her, but I take my free hand and hold the side of her face with it. The feeling of her hair and soft skin is nice, and it seems to lighten her mood a bit. The mere fact that I'm being touched by her is surprisingly erotic. I feel my body relaxing as I submit to the pleasure overwhelming me. Long minutes pass in almost total silence, our heavy breathing the only sound to be heard in the house. Lily's fingers stop affectionately stroking my hair, and she opens her lips once again. Hisao. I wait a moment for the rest of the sentence, but none is forthcoming. She may be trying to take the lead, but she is incredibly nervous. I can't help smiling as I stroke her hair from her face a couple of times, reassuring her. As nervous as she may be, I'm thankful that Lily's taking the lead. They'd probably be just as anxious if I were attending to her. Okay. She pauses a moment before giving a small nod, sitting up and shifting her legs over mine. Once again, my breath is stolen by the magnificent sight of her body over mine. Whoop, little too. There we go. Perfect. I can only look on frozen as she delicately lowers herself, resting her reddened lips over me. She slowly begins to move her hips downwards, her softness enveloping my consciousness. She takes a deep breath to collect herself, her face seeming steady. With her hands taking in my body in lieu of sight, the intimate situation muddles her usual efforts to compensate for lack of eye contact. She gradually lowers herself onto me, her knees and hands supporting her as she does. Her entire body tenses as I enter, her expression obviously one of stifled pain. Despite that, I can't help savoring the soft, warm feeling enveloping my consciousness, the surge of pleasure overcoming all my senses. The last vestiges of it all but disappear inside her while her nails slightly scrape onto my chest in an effort to stop herself from yelping in pain. A pained moan, too much of hers to express, completely escapes from her lips. As I open my mouth to comfort her, I see the barely visible red drop from between her legs. Lily, if this is too much. She clenches her fists, her mouth tightly, quickly and forcefully shaking her head from side to side in defiance. After a couple of seconds, she relaxes her body slightly, though she is still obviously far from being comfortable. I'm okay. She swallows hard, trying to collect herself. Lifting herself slowly and bringing herself back down, she relaxes a little more as the feelings of pleasure begin to overtake those of pain. Her breathing starts to match the same ragged patterns as mine, her body moving almost tensely slowly. She looks as if she's slowly beginning to enjoy the act, my feelings finally reaching her. I'm not sure if she's keeping herself at this speed for her sake or mine, but either way, with this slow and steady pace, I think I can keep my body in check. It's funny in a way that even now I'm depending on her. For us to be joined like this, our feelings so close, it makes me glad to be sharing our first moments together. An almost overwhelming feeling. I love you, Lily. It's how. I can feel my body tensing. Her breathing and movements becoming steadily less carefully controlled. I'm happy to be making her feel so good, but as my thoughts become increasingly focused, I can feel myself rapidly nearing my limit. But where is the crying? I came back here for the crying. Control of my body is instantaneously wrestled from my mind as I grip my teeth hard. A loud moaning escape as I climax, and my hips hit hers. Her body hunches over at the same moment, her breast touching on my chest. We stay locked in all-encompassing ecstasy for a brief moment, my mind completely taken by the feeling of a precious few seconds. Still good? It ends all too soon. Our bodies collapse in exhaustion, with Lily barely staying on top of me. I lifelessly managed to wrap my arms around her limp, sweating body, and for a few minutes we simply lay there, silently savoring the contact with each other while we recover from our experience. Neither of us had thought ourselves prepared for such a thing. Of that much I'm certain. Entirely drained, far past the point of conversation. I look at her tired face. It looks as if the exertion, both physical and mental, has almost forced her on the verge of collapse. I love you, Lily. Aw, it's a cute little whoop. She nods weakly, rubbing her hair in her left hand. If we could simply remain together like this for an eternity, it would be a paradise like no other. Oh. Damn, I thought we had like an emotional breakdown or something with her at some point.